What's going on, guys? A few months back I made a video about Playboi Carti's label and the status of everyone in it after the release of music, and now with the dust settling from his collab with Party Next Door and Iceman on the way, I thought it would be good to do the same for Drake's label, OVO. First thing though, what is the OVO Sweatshop? What is that even supposed to mean? Well, let's start in 2010. And at the time, up-and-coming R&B artist starts dropping songs, and through them, he was discovered by Drake. He dropped some mixtapes, and after blowing up, he signs with a label. Most people expected him to sign with OVO, as not only was Drake one of his first major supporters, but he had also done a lot of collaborations with them, so it made a ton of sense. But he didn't. He signed instead with Republic, and obviously that artist was The Weeknd, and the decision he made here would start a 10-year on and off feud with Drake. A very minor feud because they still did some collabs and interaction, but a known one regardless. And this would be the start to the sweatshop accusations. A lot of people theorize that this whole thing happening is why Drake would eventually sign Party Next Door as some sort of replacement, but that's honestly a bit of a stretch in my opinion. But anyway, because of all this happening the way it did, general fan opinion was that The Weeknd denied signing with Drake so that his career wouldn't be just serving as Drake's permanent feature artist, which happens a lot with rapper labels and the people on them. So that, alongside the fact that no one on OVO has done comparably well to Drake, they've all done well, just not to his level, all of that is what the term OVO Sweatshop kinda signifies. Now let's go through the roster and see what they're up to. Let's start out with Roy Woods. He's a pretty good R&B artist on OVO. He just dropped a single, One Night Stand. Not really much to go over though. You're finna hear this a lot, by the way. You see, unlike Opium, where everything they do is teased or announced way ahead of time, OVO kinda just says nothing until it's time to roll out an album. Smart practice, but god awful for my content. So there's not much I can really do here. I did check out his newest project, Dark Nights, and I thought it was pretty good and dare I say underrated because I saw almost nobody talking about it. I will say I think the biggest problem with OVO definitely is the fact that the label is kinda not what most people would assume it is. You'd think that the Drake label would be filled with rappers, but it's really not. OVO is mainly R&B artists, and while that does fit Drake's vibe, he makes a lot of R&B, that's not really the lane he's in. So for a lot of people, the artists on OVO kinda don't matter, which I think is a shame. R&B as a genre too is kinda dead also, so all that kinda combines into this label being way more underrated than it really should be. Signing with Drake on paper is massive, but in reality, kinda doesn't do anything. Let's move on to Baka Not Nice. Nothing. We got nothing. No album in 7 years, no single in 2 years, literally nothing but the occasional feature. The most we got from him is being mentioned on Not Like Us, which isn't even positive, that's a diss track. So yeah, another quick one, moving on. Finally, we have Smiley, the first artist on here with something going on. Not much, but something. He just dropped his album Don't Box Me In a few months ago, and it has a deluxe on the way. No release date, but something to look forward to. Smiley, of all the artists we've talked about so far, is one that I do feel super weird about. Like, I can't tell if anybody actually likes him or not, but at the same time, I kind of think he has a little bit of potential. If you've ever listened to a Smiley song, you know that he has an infamously, let's just say, distinct voice. And while his voice is the main criticism for his music, I also think it's something that would make his music this interesting kind of niche. I know that sounds insane, but Toronto is a fascinating place. This might be the next big subgenre. But yeah, that's basically it for him. In terms of being pushed, he's kind of a label favorite. He gets a good number of features from Drake, and that's obviously an auto boost to how much attention his music gets. But yeah, deluxe on the way, moving on. Naomi Sharon is another R&B artist on OVO. She's been making music since 2019 and was OVO's first female artist after signing in 2023. According to Wikipedia, she's the first lady of OVO, which, side note, I love it when rappers run their labels like governments. It's so silly, but I find it really fun from a theming perspective. Everybody meet President of the DEA, Pusha T. But yeah, Naomi Sharon is also up to a bit right now. She's in the middle of rolling out her next album. She just dropped an EP for it. She's on a tour, a lot of stuff. Like I was saying, R&B is a more low-key genre. Like, you don't hear too much about it anymore. but this seems to be a pretty big deal for her. For one, this is the first thing I've seen real promotion for. There's a Billboard article for it, and it seems overall that the label cares about this album. There's even a bit of collaboration going on, with production of the album being handled by one of the members of fellow OVO group, Majid Jordan. Speaking of which, Majid Jordan is the only group on OVO. They've been making R&B for over a decade now, very well known not just for their Drake collabs, but also their independent work as well. No news of really any kind about them, another kind of quiet artist on the label. I would say though, for them, it seems like there should be an album soonish. Complete and total speculation from me, but their last release was in 2023, so my guess is that they would drop in a year or so, probably. I feel like that makes the most sense. Party Next Door, this one is insanely easy. He's got nothing coming up. It's for good reason though. He has been working crazy hard over the last year. Of course there's his collab album with Drake, but there's also his 4th self-titled album and the tour he just finished with Drake. So much that just happened. I'm not expecting anything for a minute, but you never know. We might get something, but honestly, I don't think we will. Lastly, we got the main artist in OVO, the creator of it, none other than Drake. Unless you've been living under a rock, Drake is in the middle of a lot right now. Of course, everything that happened last year causing him to lay low, and then the lawsuit which made him unable to drop for a little while. It's been a rough year for Drake, but all that has been talked about to death, and frankly, I'm over it. The beef was a year ago, it's done. I feel that both of these guys need to move past it. But anyway, Iceman is Drake's comeback album. It's coming very soon, most likely October, because that makes the most sense. I'm going to go over the rollout, not only because that's where all the info is, but also because I don't see that many people talking about it, which I also want to get into. Alright, so the Iceman name was teased for months and months before anything materialized. All we knew is that that would be the name of the album, and then in July, the rollout officially started with Iceman Episode 1. His rollout has been consisting of these hour or so long live streams where we both get new music and a lot of heavy symbolism. Episode 1 was pretty basic, really just establishing the theme of the album. He's in an ice factory, he takes a drive around Toronto. It really is just setting up what this is about. Reflection, plotting, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of dead air in these live streams, and overall Drake is building this kind of calm before the storm vibe with his visuals. The single we got after this stream was What Did I Miss, the official return of solo Drake, and then at the end of July, we jump to episode 2. This one takes place in Manchester and features both the first collaborator on this album, Central C, as well as the first appearance of this Pinocchio character, which has since become a giant piece of the album's lore. And the single that dropped after it was Which One, featuring Central C, of course, and after that, He Went Dark. Understandable, man had a whole tour going on, but this active rollout took a whole month off, not coming back until a couple weeks ago. In his longest stream yet, Drake previewed a number of different songs and furthered the Pinocchio lore. There's this whole thing with colors going on, which is a callback to the 100 Gigs drop. The first stream was blue, the second was green, this third one is red. There is a song on 100 Gigs called Blue, Green, Red. That all tracks. And then with the Pinocchios, they're all conspiring and plotting to take down Drake's legacy. The official releases we got from this were a remix of Somebody Loves Me from the collab album and Doghouse with Yeet and Julia Wolf. And that is it for now. My thoughts on this might offend some people, but truthfully, I think this rollout is not that good. Like, don't get me wrong, I like that Drake is doing all of this subtle foreshadowing and everything, but it's just really not doing anything for me. It's so low-key, it's boring, and that paired with the music, frankly just not being all that fresh, I kind of find it uninteresting. I'm excited for the album and I want to see him get back on track. It's just that everything he's doing is telling me he's not gonna do that. He's gotta try to re-win the beef and paint himself as this underdog, when really, dude, all you gotta do is just make good music. It's September 2025. We do not care. And circling back to the quality, maybe my expectations are unrealistic, but I really wanted Drake to come back with a whole revamp. clean slate. I wanted it to genuinely shock me, and everything we're getting sounds like his last album. And to me, that level just isn't worth a rollout this tedious and drawn out. Drake has been mediocre for this whole decade, essentially coasting along. It's that complacency that caused him to get completely flipped on the way he did, in my opinion. And it's like he's coming back with no lessons learned. I really don't get it. That all being said though, I hope nothing but the best for this album. I love Drake, I miss Drake. Everything I'm saying here is coming from a fan perspective. I just wish he would do something a bit different. Alright guys, that is it for this video. OVO is a bit of an odd label. I mentioned it already a couple times, but it's so weird how Drake's label is so like low key and not talked about. I get R&B artists don't really get much attention, but this is Drake's label. Like, this should be the biggest deal in the world to me. But anyway, like this video, follow my socials, I don't plug those enough, subscribe. I wanted this video to come out sooner, but I got sick. Then I got this really annoying writer's block, all while trying to balance college assignments and shit. Too much was going on at the same time, and I had to put this on the back burner for a bit. The next one I want to get out a bit sooner, but I don't know what might come up, so no promises. But the plan I have kind of set up at the moment, I'm really excited about. And the quicker I can get around to doing all that and making all those videos, the quicker this channel will grow, which is already growing more than I ever expected. But anyway, I'm rambling. Stay clouded, everyone. See you later.